Commander Jack Harper stood at the viewport of the diplomatic vessel, looking at the massive space station that served as the headquarters of the Galactic Council. Centauri Prime glowed with blue and white lights against the darkness of space. Jack had been here many times before, but something felt different today. "Commander, we dock in 10 minutes, said Dr. Lisa Montgomery as she joined him at the viewport. Her red hair was pulled back in a neat bun, and her green eyes reflected the station lights. "Thanks, Lisa. Something doesn't feel right about this mission." Admiral Bennett was unusually vague about our objectives. Jack ran a hand through his short brown hair. "Standard diplomatic escort," he said. "Nothing we haven't done before." Lisa shrugged. The ship docked smoothly at Centauri Prime. Jack and Lisa made their way through the gleaming corridors of the station. Aliens of various species moved around them. The six-limbed Krell warriors, the glowing Solarians, and the tall, elegant Eldar who ran most of the Council operations. "The Earth delegation is meeting in Chamber 17, Jack told Lisa. "We should be there early to secure the room." Chamber 17 was empty when they arrived. Jack began his standard security sweep. Behind a panel near the main console, he found something unusual. A data crystal that shouldn't have been there. He quickly pocketed it. "What was that?" Lisa asked quietly. "Not sure. Let's review it privately." Jack's instincts told him to be careful. Later, in Jack's private quarters on the Earth section of the station, they inserted the crystal into a secure reader. The screen filled with documents marked Council Classified. "We shouldn't be seeing this," Lisa whispered, but she couldn't look away. The files contained reports about Earth and other developing worlds. One document caught Jack's attention: Human Innovation Extraction Protocol. "What does that mean?" Lisa asked, leaning closer. Jack scrolled through the document, his face growing pale. "It says the Council has been systematically taking human inventions, copying them, and using them while keeping the original technologies from us. That can't be right. The Council has been helping Earth develop since first contact." Lisa's voice shook slightly. "According to this, it's all been a lie. Look at this list. Technologies we thought the aliens shared with us were actually created by humans, stolen before they could be properly developed." Jack pointed at a long list of innovations. Their secure terminal beeped with an incoming message. Admiral Bennett's face appeared on the screen. The older man looked worried. "Harper, Montgomery, abort your standard mission. Something's happening at the Council. Several classified files have gone missing, and security is on high alert. Return to Earth immediately." "Sir, we may have found something important," Jack began. Bennett cut him off. "Not over this channel. Get back to Earth. That's an order." The screen went dark. Jack and Lisa looked at each other. "We're not going back, are we?" Lisa asked. "Not yet. This is too important. If what we found is true, humanity has been used for centuries." Jack copied the files to a secure device. "We need more proof." Across the station, in the Council Security Headquarters, Chief Nix Vala reviewed the security alerts. The tall, blue-skinned alien's 4 eyes narrowed as she studied the breach reports. "Someone accessed the classified archives from Chamber 17, her assistant reported. "Who was scheduled to use that room today?" Nix Vala asked. "The Earth delegation had it reserved, Chief." Nix Vala stood up, her ceremonial armor catching the light. "Find out which humans were there first. I want them found and questioned immediately." She pressed a button on her console. "Agent Zorn, report to my office. We have a potential security breach involving humans." Jack and Lisa moved carefully through the less-used corridors of the station. They needed more evidence, and Jack knew exactly where to find it. "The Archive Spire houses the oldest Council records," he told Lisa as they avoided the main thoroughfares. "If the Council has been hiding things from us, the proof will be there." "The Spire is the most secure location on Centauri Prime," Lisa reminded him. "We'll need help." Jack nodded. "I know someone. Eric Russell, our communications specialist. If anyone can get us into the Spire, it's him." Neither of them noticed the small drone following them, recording their every move and sending the feed directly to Nick Svala's office. Eric Russell was not happy to be woken up in the middle of his sleep cycle. The communications specialist rubbed his eyes as Jack and Lisa entered his quarters on the human section of Centauri Prime. "Do you know what time it is?" Eric grumbled. His blonde hair stuck up in all directions, and his blue eyes were still half closed. "This is more important than sleep," Jack said, showing him the data crystal. "We need your help to get into the archive spire." Eric's eyes opened fully. "The spire? That's impossible. The security there is beyond anything I've ever seen." "That's why we need you," Lisa said. "You're the best hacker in the Earth Space Force." Eric sighed and moved to his computer terminal. "Show me what you found that's worth risking our careers for." Jack and Lisa explained what they had discovered as Eric reviewed the files. His expression changed from skeptical to serious. "If this is true, the Council has been lying to us since first contact," Eric said. He typed rapidly on his terminal. "The archive spire has 3 security layers. I might be able to get us through the first 2, but the third requires physical access." "Can you create a distraction?" Jack asked. Eric nodded slowly. "I could trigger a false alarm in another section. That might pull some security away." He looked at them. "But this is crazy. If we're caught, we'll be charged with espionage. If we don't do this, humanity will continue to be exploited," Lisa replied. "We need proof that can't be denied." In her office, Olivia Carter received an urgent message. As Earth's representative to the Galactic Council, she was responsible for all human activity on Centauri Prime. The message was from Council Security. "Representative Carter, we have reason to believe several humans are planning to access restricted areas," the message read. "Please report to Security Headquarters immediately." Olivia frowned. She had worked hard to build trust between Earth and the Council. Whatever was happening could damage years of diplomatic progress. She straightened her formal council robes and headed to security. Chief Nick Svala showed Olivia the surveillance footage of Jack and Lisa. "Commander Harper and Dr. Montgomery are respected officers," Olivia said carefully. "Perhaps there's a misunderstanding. They accessed classified files and are now avoiding security," Nick Svala said. Her 4 eyes blinked in sequence. "That is not the behavior of innocent people." "Let me speak with them before you take action," Olivia suggested. "This could be a cultural misunderstanding." Nick Svala reluctantly agreed. Olivia left the security headquarters with a heavy feeling. Something wasn't right, and she needed to find out what it was. Jack, Lisa, and Eric moved through the service corridors of the station. They wore maintenance uniforms stolen from a supply closet. Eric carried a small device he had built in his quarters. "This will help us get through the first security layer," he explained. "It mimics the authorization codes of Spire staff." "And the second layer?" Lisa asked. "I studied the patrol patterns. There's a 5-minute window when the security drones reset. We'll have to move fast during that time." They reached a service entrance to the archive spire. Eric attached his device to the door panel. The lights changed from red to green, and the door slid open. "So far, so good," Jack whispered. They entered a long, white corridor. The walls were lined with data storage units that contained thousands of years of Council history. Eric checked his tablet. "Drone reset in 3 minutes. We need to reach the central elevator before then." They hurried through the corridor, trying to look like they belonged there. An Eldar archivist passed them but barely looked up from his own tablet. "Central elevator ahead," Eric said. Suddenly, all the lights in the corridor turned red. A security alarm began to sound. "That's not my distraction," Eric said, looking worried. "Someone knows we're here." Security doors began to close throughout the corridor. Jack spotted the elevator just ahead. "Run," he shouted. They sprinted for the elevator as the final security door began to close. Jack slid underneath, followed by Lisa. Eric barely made it through before the door sealed shut. In the council chamber, Olivia received an urgent alert on her personal device. She discreetly checked it and saw that the Archive Spire security had been breached. The faces of the intruders appeared on her screen. Jack, Lisa, and Eric. Olivia closed her eyes briefly. Whatever they were doing, they had just made her job much more difficult. And yet, a small part of her wondered why these respected officers would risk everything. What had they found that was worth such a risk? She quietly excused herself from the chamber meeting. She needed to reach them before Council security did. The elevator descended deep into the heart of the Archive Spire. Jack, Lisa, and Eric stood in tense silence as the floor numbers flashed by. The main archives should be on level 50, Eric said, checking his tablet. That's where the oldest records are kept. How much time do we have? Jack asked. Minutes at best. They know we're in the elevator. Eric worked quickly on his device. I'm scrambling the tracking system. It might buy us a little more time. The elevator stopped at level 50. The doors opened to reveal a vast circular room filled with data crystals arranged in glowing blue shelves. In the center of the room stood a large crystal pillar that pulsed with light. That's the main archive core, Lisa whispered in awe. Records going back thousands of years. Jack approached the core. How do we access it? Eric connected his tablet to a nearby terminal. I need to bypass the final security layer. Keep watch. Jack and Lisa stood guard while Eric worked. The room was quiet except for the soft hum of the core. I'm in, Eric said after several tense minutes. What are we looking for? Anything about Earth or human technology, Jack said. Especially the earliest Council contacts with our planet. Eric typed commands, and the core's glow changed from blue to green. Data began to flow across his screen. There's too much information, Eric said. We need to narrow it down. Try looking for species management protocols, Lisa suggested, remembering a term from the stolen files. Eric typed the new search. The core pulsed, and a section of data crystals lit up across the room. Lisa walked over and carefully removed one. We need a reader, she said. Eric pointed to a console near the wall. That should work. Lisa inserted the crystal. The screen displayed ancient text in the Council's universal language. She read quickly, her expression growing more troubled with each line. This is it, she said. The original Eldar directive from over 5,000 years ago. It outlines the Council's true purpose. Jack and Eric moved to read over her shoulder. The document described in clear terms how the founding Eldar had established the Council, not as a collaborative body, but as a means to control and exploit developing species. They call it guided evolution, Lisa said, her voice shaking. They identify species with unusual creative potential, then carefully manage their development, harvesting their innovations while preventing them from advancing too quickly. Jack pointed to a passage. Look at this. Earth is listed as a Class A creative source, the highest rating. They've been taking our ideas for centuries and deliberately holding us back. There's more, Eric said, scrolling through the data. The Eldar don't just take our technology. They use our creative thinking to solve their own problems. We're like mental laborers for them. Lisa downloaded the files to her secure device. We need to get this information back to Earth. Suddenly, the lights in the archive turned red. A voice echoed through the room. Attention unauthorized personnel. You are surrounded. Exit the archive with your hands visible. Security found us, Jack said, drawing his sidearm. We need another way out. Eric pointed to a maintenance door. Service tunnels. They run throughout the station. They ran for the door as the main entrance to the archive slid open. Council security forces led by a tall Eldar officer entered, weapons raised. Stop immediately, the officer commanded. Jack fired his weapon at the ceiling, causing sparks and smoke to fill the room. Under cover of the confusion, they slipped through the maintenance door and sealed it behind them. This tunnel should lead to the docking bays, Eric said, consulting his tablet. They moved quickly through the narrow tunnel. The sound of alarms followed them. Even if we escape, where can we go? Lisa asked. The whole council will be after us now. We need to get this information to people who can use it, Jack said. Not just Earth, but other exploited species too. I know someone who might help, Eric offered. A Krell trader named Gorn. He has connections to resistance groups that have been fighting the council for years. You never mentioned this before, Jack said. Eric shrugged. It wasn't relevant until now. They reached the end of the tunnel and found themselves in a small docking bay used for maintenance vessels. We can take one of these, Jack said, pointing to a courier ship. Small enough to be fast, big enough to reach the outer systems. As they boarded the ship, Lisa looked at the data they had stolen. The council has been lying to everyone for thousands of years, and we just discovered their darkest secret. Jack started the ship's engines, and now are going to tell the galaxy. The stolen courier ship burst from the docking bay of Centauri Prime, its engines glowing bright blue against the darkness of space. Inside, Jack gripped the controls while Lisa and Eric worked frantically at the navigation and communication systems. They've locked weapons on us, Lisa reported, her eyes fixed on the sensor display. Hang on, Jack said as he pushed the ship into a sharp dive beneath the space station. The move put the bulk of Centauri Prime between them and the Council defense platforms. Eric typed rapidly on his console. I'm masking our engine signature. It might confuse their tracking systems for a while. 3 Council patrol ships appeared on the sensors, moving to intercept them. We can't outfight them, Jack said. We need to outrun them. He pushed the engines to maximum power. The small courier ship shuddered as it accelerated away from the station. The patrol ships followed, gaining slowly. We need somewhere to hide, Lisa said. The asteroid belt in this system might work. Jack nodded and changed course. The ship raced toward a dense field of rocks that orbited the star. Behind them, the patrol ships continued their pursuit. On Centauri Prime, Chief Nix Vala stood in the Council's Security Command Center. Multiple screens showed the chase in progress. Do not lose them, she ordered her officers. Those humans have accessed our most classified archives. An elegant elder in flowing silver robes entered the room. The council members present bowed slightly. High Counselor Zorthal, Nix Vala said with respect. What exactly did these humans access? Zorthal asked. His voice was calm, but his eyes showed concern. The original directives, High Counselor. The species management protocols. Zorthal's expression darkened. This cannot become public knowledge. Use all available resources. Find them. What about the Earth representative? Nix Vala asked. Monitor her closely, Zorthal ordered. If she attempts to help them, detain her immediately. In another part of the station, Olivia Carter received an encrypted message from Admiral Bennett on Earth. She made sure she was alone before opening it. Situation critical, the message read. Harper has transmitted partial data. If what he found is authentic, the Council has betrayed us. Position Earth fleet assets to assist covertly. Trust no one in the Council. Olivia deleted the message and took a deep breath. Her world was falling apart. If the Council had been exploiting humanity all this time, her entire career had been built on lies. She made a decision and began accessing classified Earth communications channels. She needed to find Jack and his team before the Council did. The courier ship weaved through the asteroid field, dodging massive rocks and ice chunks. Jack's hands moved skillfully over the controls as he guided the ship through the dangerous maze. 2 patrol ships still following, Lisa reported. The third turned back. Their larger ships can't maneuver well in here, Jack said, but they'll wait for us to come out. Eric worked on his console. I've established a secure channel to Earth. We can transmit what we found. Not yet, Jack said. If we send it now, the Council will know exactly where we are. We need to reach a safer position first. Lisa studied the stolen data. According to these files, we're not the only species being exploited. The Krell, the Solarians, the Vex, they're all listed as creative sources for the Council. If we can reach representatives from those species, we might find allies, Jack suggested. Eric nodded. My contact, Gorn, operates in the Outer Rim territories. If we can reach him, he might help us spread the word. A sudden impact rocked the ship. Warning lights flashed across the control panels. We've been hit, Lisa shouted, glancing below from an energy weapon. Jack spotted a large hollow asteroid ahead. In there, we can hide and make repairs. He guided the damaged ship into a dark crater on the asteroid's surface. The ship's engines powered down as they settled into the shadowy refuge. Damage report, Jack asked. Engine cooling system is hit, Eric said after checking the diagnostics. We can repair it, but we need time. Jack nodded. Start working on it. Lisa helped me set up defensive positions in case they find us. As they prepared for a possible boarding attempt, Jack received an unexpected message on his personal communicator. The sender identification was encrypted, but the message was clear. Commander Harper, this is Olivia Carter. I know what you found. Earth forces are moving to assist you. Send your location on this secure channel. I can help. Jack showed the message to Lisa. Can we trust her? Lisa looked uncertain. She's been working with the Council for years, but she's also human. We don't have many options, Jack admitted, and we'll need all the help we can get. Outside their hiding place, more Council ships arrived, scanning the asteroid field for any sign of the fugitives. Jack stared at Olivia's message for a long moment before making his decision. We'll send her our location, but not our exact position in this asteroid, he told Lisa and Eric. If it's a trap, we'll still have time to escape. Eric sent the encrypted coordinates while Lisa finished repairing the cooling system. The ship's engines hummed back to life, ready for a quick departure if needed. 2 hours until an Earth ship could reach us, Eric said. If Olivia is telling the truth. They waited in tense silence. Jack kept watch at the ship's sensors, while Lisa organized the stolen data and Eric monitored communications. Contact approaching, Jack announced suddenly. Small ship, running silent. On the view screen, they saw a sleek black vessel moving carefully through the asteroid field. It showed no Council markings. That's not a standard Earth or Council design, Lisa observed. The ship settled into the asteroid crater about 50 meters from their position. A secure communication channel opened. Commander Harper, this is Olivia Carter. I'm not alone. I've brought someone you should meet. Jack opened a video channel. Olivia's face appeared on the screen. Beside her stood a large reptilian figure with scaled skin and 4 yellow eyes. Jack recognized the species immediately. A Krell warrior, he said. Why should we trust either of you? Because we share a common enemy, the Krell replied. His voice was deep and rumbling. I am Krell Commander Vork. My people have suspected the Council's deception for generations. We need to move quickly, Olivia added. Council forces are searching this entire sector. Jack looked at Lisa and Eric. Both nodded cautiously. Follow us, Jack told Olivia. We'll head to the outer system together. Both ships left the asteroid and moved deeper into the field, taking a complex path to avoid detection. They emerged on the far side and accelerated toward the edge of the system. We're receiving a transmission from Vorg's ship, Eric reported. The Krell commander's face filled their screen. We must rendezvous with others who share our suspicions. I have contacts among the Solarians and Vex who have been gathering evidence against the Council for years. Where? Jack asked. An abandoned mining station in the Helios cluster. We call it Haven. The Council believes it was destroyed years ago. Jack nodded. Set course. The 2 ships traveled for several days, taking indirect routes and changing course often to avoid Council patrols. During the journey, Lisa and Eric continued analyzing the stolen data. These files confirm everything, Lisa told Jack. The Council has been stealing innovations from dozens of species for thousands of years. The Eldar have used this system to maintain their dominance without appearing to be conquerors. The Krell were known for their weapon designs, Eric added. The Solarians developed early forms of faster-than-light communication. The Vex created incredible computational systems, all stolen and claimed by the Council. And humans? Jack asked. We're listed as exceptionally creative and adaptable, Lisa said. Our innovations in the past 3 centuries have been harvested more intensively than any other species in Council history. Their ships finally reached the Helios cluster, a dense collection of stars on the edge of explored space. Vorg guided them to what appeared to be a large asteroid. As they approached, hidden docking bays opened in its surface. Inside the secret base, Jack, Lisa, and Eric were amazed to find representatives from 5 different species working together. The blue-skinned Solarians with their glowing eyes, the insectoid Vex with their complex mechanical attachments, and others they didn't recognize. Welcome to Haven, Vorg said proudly. The beginning of the resistance. A tall Solarian approached them. I am Lyra. For 20 years, we have been gathering evidence of Council deception. But what you have brought us is beyond anything we had found. We need to share this information with all Council species, Jack said. That would cause chaos. A Vex representative clicked. We must be strategic. Olivia stepped forward. Earth forces are already positioning themselves for potential conflict. Admiral Bennett has placed fleet elements near key Council facilities. My people will fight if given proof of betrayal, Vorg added. The Krell have never fully trusted the Eldar. Jack looked around at the diverse group. Then we're agreed. We form an alliance against the Council's deception. The Council has controlled us for thousands of years through lies, Lisa said. But together, we can expose the truth. As they began planning their next move, an alarm sounded throughout the base. Proximity alert, a Vex technician announced. Multiple Council warships have entered the Helios cluster. The leaders of the newly formed alliance exchanged worried looks. How did they find us? Jack wondered. Alarms blared throughout Haven as everyone rushed to their stations. Jack followed Vorg to the command center where screens showed 5 Council warships approaching their position. They shouldn't have been able to find us, Vorg growled. This location has been secret for years. Jack looked at the tactical display with growing concern. Those ships are moving with purpose. They know exactly where we are. Olivia joined them, her face tight with worry. We need to evacuate. Those are Eldar Hunter-class vessels. They're designed for assault operations. Lisa and Eric arrived with Lyra and several Vex representatives. The data is secured, Lisa reported. We've made copies for each species represented here. A new face appeared in the command center. Commander Steve Blackwood, an Earth officer who had joined their group during the escape from Centauri Prime. Steve had been an old friend of Jack's from the Academy, and his arrival at Haven 2 days ago had been a welcome surprise. Jack, we've got the evacuation shuttles ready, Steve said, but we need to hurry. Jack nodded. Everyone split into mixed groups. Different species on different shuttles. That way, if some are captured, the Alliance still survives. As they rushed to prepare for evacuation, the tactical officer shouted, "They're launching boarding pods." "We're out of time," Vorg snarled. "Everyone to the shuttles now." People ran through the corridors of the hidden base. Jack made sure Lisa and Eric were headed to different shuttles. "We'll rendezvous at the backup location," he told them. Steve grabbed Jack's arm. "I need to show you something first. It might help us escape." Jack hesitated, but followed Steve down a side corridor away from the evacuation route. They entered a small communication room. "What is it?" Jack asked impatiently. Steve's expression changed completely. The friendly smile disappeared, replaced by cold determination. "I'm sorry it had to come to this, Jack." Before Jack could react, Steve pulled out a small device and pressed it. A force field sprang up around Jack, trapping him. "Steve, what are you doing?" Jack tried to break through the energy barrier but couldn't. Steve's appearance began to change. His skin rippled and shifted. His eyes changed color from brown to a bright, glowing purple. His fingers elongated, and his height increased by several inches. "My name is not Steve Blackwood," he said, his voice now higher and musical. "I am Taldar, agent of the Eldar Conclave." Jack stared in shock. "You're Eldar? But how?" "Genetic modification, surgical alteration, and years of study. We have agents among all species under Council protection. I've been monitoring you since the Academy, Jack. You always showed dangerous potential." Taldar activated a communication panel. "Security breach contained. Primary human target secured. Begin full assault." The entire base shook as explosions rocked the structure. Taldar smiled coldly. "Your alliance ends before it truly begins. The others will escape," Jack said defiantly. "You can't stop all of them." "We don't need to stop all of them, just the ones with the complete data." Taldar held up a small device. "This has been broadcasting your location since I arrived. It also allowed me to access your secure communications." Jack's blood ran cold. "Lisa, Dr. Montgomery will be of particular interest to the Eldar Conclave. Her understanding of the data you stole is impressive." On the other side of the base, Lisa ran toward her assigned shuttle. Suddenly, armored Council security forces appeared in the corridor ahead. She turned to find another route, but more troops blocked the way. "Don't move," the lead officer ordered. "By order of the Council, you are under arrest." Lisa raised her hand slowly, one still clutching the data device. Before they could take it, she pressed a hidden button, transmitting a final emergency message to all Allied vessels in range. In the command center, Vorg and Olivia watched in horror as Council forces overwhelmed the base. Olivia received Lisa's emergency transmission. "They have Lisa and Jack," she told Vorg, "but some shuttles are getting away." Vorg made a quick decision. "We must go too. We cannot help them by being captured." They rushed to the last remaining shuttle. As they lifted off, they saw Council ships capturing several other evacuation vessels. "Where to now?" Olivia asked. "Earth," Vorg replied grimly. "Your world needs to know what has happened. The Eldar Conclave will declare martial law across Council space once news of this rebellion spreads." As their shuttle jumped to faster-than-light travel, Olivia looked back at the fading stars of the Helios cluster. "Jack, Lisa," she whispered, "we'll come back for you." Lisa sat in her cell aboard the Eldar flagship, staring at the energy barrier that served as a door. 3 days had passed since her capture at Haven. The Eldar had taken her data device, but she had managed to hide a backup copy in a secret compartment of her uniform before being captured. So far, they hadn't found it. The barrier suddenly shimmered and disappeared. 2 Eldar guards entered, followed by Taldar, still wearing Steve Blackwood's face, though now his eyes glowed their natural purple. "Dr. Montgomery," he said smoothly, "you're being transferred to the Eldar homeworld for further questioning." "Where is Jack?" Lisa demanded. "Commander Harper is also being transferred. The Eldar Conclave wishes to understand how much damage your discovery has caused." The guards escorted Lisa through the gleaming corridors of the ship. Through a viewport, she saw stars streaming by as they traveled at faster-than-light speed. "You won't be able to contain this," Lisa said. "Too many people know the truth now." Taldar smiled thinly. "The Council has already declared a state of emergency. All transmissions about your supposed evidence are being blocked. The official story is that a group of human extremists tried to destabilize the Council with false information." Lisa kept her face neutral, hiding her worry. Could the Council really suppress the truth so easily? In another part of the ship, Jack was being led to a shuttle bay. His hands were bound with energy cuffs, and 4 guards surrounded him. Despite his situation, he was planning his escape. As they turned a corner, the lights suddenly went out. Emergency lighting cast red shadows across the corridor. The guards raised their weapons, looking around nervously. "Security breach in Section 12, announced a voice over the communication system. "All personnel report status." In the confusion, Jack felt someone grab him from behind and pull him into a side passage. He struggled until a familiar voice whispered in his ear, "It's Eric. Stop fighting and follow me." Jack turned to see Eric Russell wearing an Elder security uniform. "How did you get here?" "No time to explain," Eric said as he disabled Jack's restraints. "We need to move fast." They hurried through maintenance corridors as alarms sounded throughout the ship. Eric handed Jack a small weapon. "Where's Lisa?" Jack asked. "Being taken to a different shuttle bay. Olivia and Vorg are working on getting to her." Jack was surprised. "Olivia and Vorg are here too, along with a few others. When we got Lisa's transmission about your capture, we couldn't just leave you behind." Meanwhile, in the Council's main chamber on Centauri Prime, High Counselor Zorthol addressed the assembled representatives from all member species. "This criminal action by human extremists threatens the peace we have maintained for thousands of years," he declared. "Until order is restored, the Eldar Conclave will assume direct control of all Council operations." The chamber erupted in protests. The Krell representative stood tall. "Where is the proof of these human crimes? We demand to see evidence." Zorthol raised his hand for silence. "This matter is not open for debate. The Eldar Conclave has spoken." As the Council fell into disorder, Olivia's carefully placed allies began distributing copies of the stolen data to representatives of every species. The information spread quickly despite attempts to block it. Back on the Eldar flagship, Lisa was approaching the shuttle bay when explosions rocked the ship. The guards looked around in confusion. In that moment, a large scaled figure burst from a side corridor, knocking the guards aside with powerful blows. "Commander Vorg," Lisa said with relief. "Come quickly," the Krell warrior growled. "Our window of escape is small." They ran toward a different section of the ship where a captured Council courier vessel was docked. Inside, they found Olivia at the controls. "We need to find Jack and Eric," Lisa told them. "They're making their own way to the escape point," Olivia said. "We'll rendezvous in the Oort cloud." Another explosion shook the ship. Olivia activated the engines, and the small vessel detached from the flagship. On Earth, Admiral Bennett watched as the classified data about the Council's true purpose spread across secure networks. Military commanders from around the world gathered in emergency sessions. "We've suspected something like this for years," one general said. "But the evidence was never clear until now." Bennett nodded grimly. "Prepare the fleet. The Eldar won't let this information spread without a fight." All across Council space, ships from Earth, Krell, Solarian, and Vex worlds began moving into defensive positions. The resistance that had started with Jack's discovery was becoming a full-scale rebellion. In the darkness of space, two small vessels rendezvoused in the outer reaches of the star system. Jack, Lisa, Eric, Olivia, and Vorg were together again, battered but alive. "What now?" Eric asked. Jack looked at the distant stars. "We take the fight to them, to the Eldar homeworld itself." The planet Eldara glowed like a blue jewel in space, surrounded by defense platforms and a fleet of warships. Jack stood on the bridge of the Earth battleship Freedom, watching as vessels from a dozen different species gathered around them. "Fleet status report," he said to Eric, who now wore an Earth Space Force uniform with commander insignia. "All ships in position, Jack. Krell battle cruisers on our left flank, Solarian vessels on our right. Vex infiltration ships are already in system, disrupting Elder communications." Lisa joined them, studying the tactical display. The combined fleet outnumbers the Elder defenses, but their technology is still superior to ours. "Not for long," Olivia said as she entered the bridge. "Earth's hidden weapons systems are online. We've been developing them in secret for years, worried that something like this might happen." The communications officer called out, "Incoming transmission from the Eldar Conclave." The main screen filled with the image of High Counselor Zorthol. His face showed no emotion, but his eyes burned with anger. "This rebellion ends now," he said. "Return to your worlds and accept Elder guidance, or face destruction." Jack stepped forward. "We know the truth about the Council, about how you've stolen from us and controlled us for thousands of years. It's over, Zorthal." The High Counselor's face hardened. "So be it." The screen went dark. Moments later, the Eldar fleet began to move. "They're powering weapons," Eric reported. "All ships, battle positions," Jack ordered. "Begin the attack." Space lit up with energy beams and explosions as the combined fleet engaged the Eldar defenses. Earth ships fired new weapons that cut through Eldar shields. Krell cruisers smashed into the defense platforms. Vex ships disabled Eldar communications with advanced jamming technology. "We're breaking through their outer defenses," Lisa reported. Jack nodded. "Launch the landing ships." 300 smaller vessels broke away from the main fleet, racing toward the planet's surface. Jack, Lisa, and Eric boarded the lid ship along with Vorg and a team of special forces. "Our target is the Sacred Conclave," Jack reminded everyone. "The seat of the Eldar leadership. If we capture it, we can end this war quickly." The landing ships broke through the atmosphere, evading ground-based defenses. They landed in a large plaza outside the golden towers of the Sacred Conclave. As the teams deployed, they faced heavy resistance from Eldar security forces. "Push forward," Vorg roared, leading a group of Krell warriors into battle. Jack, Lisa, and Eric moved with another team toward the central tower. Olivia coordinated the attack from orbit, directing reinforcements where needed. After fierce fighting, they reached the entrance to the central tower. Eric connected his device to the security panel. "I need time to bypass their systems," he said. Jack and Lisa protected him as Eldar forces closed in around them. Just as they were about to be overwhelmed, Vorg arrived with reinforcements. "The outer perimeter is secure," the Krell commander reported, "but not for long." "I'm in," Eric announced. The massive doors slid open, revealing a long hallway leading to the inner sanctum. They moved quickly through the hall, encountering less resistance than expected. Finally, they reached a vast circular chamber. In the center stood Zorthal and several other Eldar leaders. "You have lost, Zorthal," Jack said, weapon raised. "Order your forces to stand down." The High Counselor looked strangely calm. "You think you understand, but you do not. We are not the architects of this system. We are its inheritors." "What do you mean?" Lisa asked. Zorthal gestured, and the floor of the chamber became transparent, revealing an ancient archive beneath their feet. Before the Eldar, there were the precursors. They created the council structure and the species management protocols. We discovered them just as you have discovered our version. "So you continued their system of exploitation?" Jack asked in disbelief. "We improved it," Zorthal replied. "The precursors harvested species until extinction. We merely borrowed. It ends today, regardless of who started it," Lisa declared. Zorthal looked at the humans with a new expression, something like respect. "Perhaps it is time. The cycle has continued long enough." Outside, the battle turned decisively as Earth's hidden fleet arrived, deploying weapons the Eldar had never seen before. The Eldar defenses began to crumble. "The Eldar Conclave surrenders," Zorthal announced finally. "The age of the Council is over." 1 month later, representatives from all former Council species gathered on Centauri Prime. The old Council chamber had been rebuilt into a circular hall where all seats were equal. Jack, now an admiral, stood with Lisa and Eric as Olivia addressed the gathered delegates. "Today marks the beginning of the Galactic Alliance," she said. "No species above another. No secrets, no exploitation. Together, we will build something better than the Council ever was." As cheers filled the chamber, Jack looked at his friends. "Not bad for a routine diplomatic mission." Lisa smiled. "The galaxy will never be the same." "And that's a good thing," Eric added.